So here's my setup. You need a space. I put this in front of the window. You need a space, some good lighting. I've got that was 22 bucks minus 50% at Michael's. And then, I've got my paper down there. I've got my color wheel. This isn't in the supplies list, but the hairdryer is going to be your lifesaver because you can put down some paint and immediately dry it and get started on the next color. Pencil sharpener. Some paints we're going to be looking at. I got a bunch of jars. I use these not only for cleaning brushes. You could clean your brush here and then clean it again in here so it's darker paint, dirtier water, not so dirty water. It's easier to clean, and then just something to hold my brushes in. What else? Your painter's tape. Oh, pencil, a ruler to mark off the things we're going to be doing. Let's get started on this first color exercise. All right, so the standard seems to be the 10-step color scales. You basically, as far as craft, you can measure down, and I'm gonna try to get all 4 of my, there's a value scale and then there's tints, tones, and shades. Okay, so you can see here, we're gonna start on our value scales. We've got 2 jars of water. I've got some paper towels somewhere to wipe my brushes on. And then I got my white, and I've got my black, and I've got my white, and I've got a palette knife. Oh, you probably do want to have a line going, all the way down. And then this will lift up when we're done. This will give us a clean edge. So let's get our first color on there. So, you've got your palette knife for mixing, but here's a nice, here's my black. So I want to lay it down. I want to look at it, and I want to look at the viscosity of the paint. I put some water in there, so it was a little runny there. I didn't like that. So there's my black. Now, so instead of waiting for that to dry and then waiting and waiting and waiting to do my next color, you can just use your hairdryer and you can dry it pretty fast. Now, if you watched that one YouTube video I posted, so you want to ask yourself, what's midtone? So, your color wheel actually has a grayscale on it. So I'm going to pick this color and try to match it. So I'm going to put some white out here. You're going to need a lot of white throughout the course. I'm going to take my brush and clean it. I don't have to make it super clean yet. It's not, we're not in color yet, doing any color. But I'm gonna try to match that middle gray. Okay? So, what I'm doing here, and I wanna mix enough to, look at that. That's pretty darn close, isn't it? So I'm gonna say that's my middle gray. What did I decide? This was gonna be my middle. I'm gonna tape off my middle. Okay. I'm gonna tape off the other side. It's a little wonky, but that'll work. Okay, so what I want is a nice solid color. I don't want to see the white of the paper under there. I don't want to see any streaks, right? You don't mix it with water. You'll notice on this one, I didn't mix it with water this time. I don't know, that looks pretty good to me. Put some of my excess paint over there, put this in the water, all right? I'm gonna dry this, take the tape off, and I'm gonna keep doing this. I'm not gonna force you to watch me laboriously do this through the whole process, but I'm gonna figure out which way I want to go. I'm going to add a little bit more dark here, a little bit more dark here, a little bit more dark here. Try to get an even gradation. I'm probably going to use my color wheel, and then I'm gonna try to get lighter and lighter, and then let's see how it comes out. But you see the process. Tape it off. Dry it. Pull the tape up and move to the next one. You can see here in this light, you can see it got a little heavy in here. But if you look at it, you know, if it's on the wall and you're photographing it, then it's gonna, well, hopefully it'll be okay. It really depends, you know, again, presentation is everything. When you go to photograph this, make sure you're using natural light, no yellow light. I don't know. I mean, you don't want to have a yellow cast from an artificial light. You take it outside and put it in indirect light, or put it on the wall, and just make sure you have the right lighting. You guys have covered this in seminar, but this one, when I look, it's funny because when I'm looking at it myself, there's definitely a distinction between the dark and the next to dark. But when you look at it with this, with the video, it looks the same. So we have to do the same thing with tints, tones, and shades. This took me 30, 40 minutes. Clean your brushes. Don't leave your brushes in like this for very long because they'll get bent. Take your brush out, clean it, dry it, make sure all the hairs are where you want them, so it's ready to go. You know, this acrylic is permanent. If it gets on any kind of rug or clothing or anything, it's there forever. So make sure your workspace is clean. Clean off your palette, clean off your brushes, and you know, so there's that. And then when, you know, when we get ready to photograph this, maybe we'll do another video on that. But anyway, this came out reasonably well. I'm shooting for at least a B on this. I think you can see it better maybe in that light. So anyway, those are my tips, all right, for cleanup and brush maintenance, and basically just getting to that next step.